Today we're finally going to continue the restoration of my 2005 Scion XB. Right behind me is my 2005 Scion XB, the first car that I ever purchased new. I've had this car for, oh my gosh, 16 years. So this has been with me for a very long time. I've taken this car everywhere. It's got 225,000 miles on it. And as you can see, it's seen better days. The paint is trashed. I've made a couple of videos with this car so far where I started a restoration process, but it's been a while since I've worked on this thing. It's been sitting in the corner over there. But today, this Scion XB is finally headed off to the paint shop. I mean, just look at this paint. It is awful. I mean, obviously it's really dirty, but I thought about trying to restore this paint, but the clear coat is just totally peeling off and it's awful. So finally going to get this thing painted. So in a couple of minutes, this thing's going to get towed over to the paint shop.
Three weeks later.
Now a few weeks have passed, as you can tell by the magic of editing. The car is now painted. I'm not going to show you just yet. First, a little backstory on my Scion XB, why this car is so important to me, why I would have spent so much money painting this thing. My 2005 Scion XB was the first car I ever purchased new. I remember driving this thing off the dealership lot and just laughing because I was so excited that I was able to afford my first new car. And in those many years that I owned this thing, we took it on tons of road trips. We drove it all over the place. I have a whole video about my experiences with this car. You can click above to see that. This car has a ton of sentimental value. Me and my wife drove it everywhere. I just can't see getting rid of this thing, even though it's really not worth anything anymore. It's at the bottom of the depreciation curve. You can find these things super cheap now. But we just had so many good memories in the thing that I had to fix it up. Over the years, it started to get a little banged up. The paint started to get really faded. Things just started to look really bad. And I felt like I need to show this vehicle a little bit of love. So here we go. Here is the result of this thing being painted. Without further ado, my brand new paint job on my 2005 Scion XB. All right, so there it is. It's kind of underwhelming, isn't it? This thing was supposed to be all put back together. This thing was supposed to look perfect after this paint job, and I'd say it looks pretty good. It looks really good from 20 feet. You can start to see some of the issues as you get a little bit closer, and we'll talk about those in a bit. Now, if you've seen my previous videos about this vehicle, you'll know that I did a lot of disassembly to get this thing ready for paint. I didn't actually go and scuff the paint myself. I didn't sand it and all that, but I got everything ready. I took off all the trim and all that to get this thing ready to be painted. Plus, the bumpers were all screwed up, so I had to replace those anyway. Those had to come off and get painted separately. So as you can tell, I went with the original color, which I love. I was kind of toying with the idea of maybe painting it like a 1990s teal, but I decided to go with the original color, not only because I love it, but also because I didn't want to have to deal with painting the door jambs or having two different colors on the door jambs or on the inside under the trunk. I wanted it to look good all around. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the color. It looks almost identical to the color that I had when it was brand new. So a couple of the major issues. First of all, the guy said he was going to put this back together for me. He was going to put the bumpers on, the headlights, everything. He just didn't do it. He called me one day and said, yeah, I'm not going to assemble it. It's not worth it to me. I don't want to do it. Now I got to do it. So that was kind of strike one, him telling me that he didn't want to put it back together. This was a company that I found on Yelp, got really great reviews. It wasn't a personal reference, but maybe I should have done that in retrospect. I feel like he did a pretty good job, but when you get a little bit closer, you'll start to notice a few minor details. If you get really close up, you'll notice that there's quite a bit of orange peel. And that was the other thing. He said, well, I have to charge you extra to polish this thing. So I'm basically left with a paint job that looks pretty good, but has a lot of orange peel. Yeah, you can really see the orange peel from here. It looks pretty bad. Now, it's very possible that sanding can eliminate all that and it'll look really great. I just wish that he would have done it, and I have never painted a car before, so I didn't really know that that should have been part of the process. So this is kind of a learning experience for me. It should be a learning experience for you as well. If you ever need to get a car painted, make sure that they're including that step and make sure that it's in writing that they're going to do that. And I didn't get it in writing. I basically paid for the guy to sand and paint this thing, which wasn't exactly what I was expecting, but that's exactly what my invoice says. So what else? So yeah, when you get really close, you can start to notice a couple small little details like bubbles here and there where maybe the surface wasn't completely clean. And of course, you can see that the car is actually kind of dirty because it took me a couple days to go pick it up, and he put a car cover over it that seem to be kind of greasy, which is kind of annoying. So there's a whole bunch of grease spots, but that doesn't really matter because I'm gonna have to get this thing polished anyway. So no, it didn't come out exactly as I'd hoped, but I don't think it's all bad news here. I think there's a lot of good news here. I think there's a lot to appreciate. The fact that this really just looks 1,000 times better than before it was painted. I'm not disappointed enough to leave the guy like really bad Yelp reviews or anything like that. It's just kind of one of those deals where you get what you pay for. I mean, I don't even really know if I got what I paid for. So this paint job right here, which could be a lot better, cost me $3,000. Now, before you start like screaming and yelling in the comments, Ethan, what are you doing? You're such an idiot. That is true, but keep in mind that even like a really nice wrap job could cost that much. So it's just a bummer that painting a car is just so expensive. So he put all the bumpers and all the painted parts inside there, so I got to take all that stuff out and make sure that there's no issues there. Make sure that he painted everything that he was supposed to paint. He didn't even take the tape off of where the lock is. I still got to do that. All right, so let's get this in the garage, pull out the rest of the parts that are in the back there, and see if we can find any other issues. I hope not. I really want to be excited about this. I mean, I am excited about this. I just don't want to find any more issues. You know what's funny? I start to see a couple more things that are annoying, like how dirty the interior of this car is. I definitely didn't give it to him that dirty, and it just ended up getting just covered in dust. I don't know where the heck this came from, if he left it sitting in the shop with the windows down or something, but it is just filthy in here, and I'm gonna have to get this deep cleaned. All right, let's take a look. All right, so this is most of the rear bumper, and that actually looks pretty decent. I don't see any issues there. All right, what else we got in here? What is this? For some reason, he painted the old trunk release, which I told him was broken. So that was a waste of his time to do that. So the mirrors came out okay. There's a little scratch right there. And also, he painted this part right here. This part is supposed to be black, but they painted that anyway. I'm fine with it, I guess. There's some drips there. It's not awful. All right, what else we got in here? Okay, so that's part of the front bumper. That looks pretty good. Part of the rear bumper. It's got like masking tape stuck to it, so there's a few spots down there. They could have taken these fasteners out. Those are painted on, so I have to figure out how to get those off without ruining the paint. It's funny, the more I look at this, the more kind of pissed off I am. This looks decent, I guess. Okay, so here's one issue. He forgot to paint the front grille. That is not painted at all, and it really needs it. Oh, and look, he didn't paint these also. These were supposed to be painted too. He didn't paint these. These are basically the fog light covers. So this isn't the end of the world. I might end up just putting fog lights in this thing, but yeah, these should have been painted too. And then he sent me back my old bumper, which is fine because that's got the lights on it. So yeah, I need to save these little pieces right there, and I need to take the lights out. But for some reason, they scuffed this up. I wonder if they lost that too. These are the trim pieces that go on the sides of the car. And then I think that's it. All right, so now I think it's time to figure out what to do about this grille. I thought I could get away with just sort of cleaning it, but yeah, the paint is really not that great on this, so I probably really do need to get this repainted, which it should have been to begin with, so let's give that guy a call. So yeah, you forgot to paint the grille and the fog light covers. So, no, I literally handed you the grille when I first arrived there. And then I came back a couple weeks later to show you all the parts that need to be painted. I don't know what you mean by that. So you're saying when you paint a car, it doesn't include everything? The whole car is not the whole car? I don't really know what that means. All right, let me think about it. I'll call you back. What the f? I mean, he just texted me too. Let me read the text. I asked him, when somebody asks you to paint a whole car, why would you not paint the grille? He literally says, sorry, my friend, the whole car is not the whole car for me. What does that even mean? The whole car means just the metal parts. The grille is separate. If you want to paint that, it's gonna be $250 extra. So yeah, what the f? All right, so I want to keep this positive. I don't often get pissed off in my videos. I try to like save that for like when I'm working on the car and like something falls on my hand. But yeah, this is kind of pissing me off. Okay, so he just sent me another text message that says he would do it for $150. But still, what the heck? I give you the car, I give you all the parts, I show you everything needs to be painted twice. So now I don't really know what to do because I could find another person to do this for me. Obviously, I don't really want to give this guy any more money, but it might just be easier to just have him paint this thing and get it over with. I don't know. What do you think I should do? Give the guy an extra $150 to paint this, or find another person to do it, which probably would cost more than $150. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. This is bull. So I really want to end this video on a positive note. I'm glad that this project is finally back on track after sitting for a while. I'm excited to finally give this vehicle some love and to really try to bring it back to its former glory, to that day when I drove it off that dealer lot, when I was so excited about owning and driving my first new car. Yeah, this paint shop is not perfect, and yeah, that shop that I use, I'll definitely not ever go back there again. But even with its flaws, this does look way better than it did before. There's a whole lot of sentimental value wrapped up in this car. There's a lot of memories with this thing. And yeah, it makes absolutely no financial sense to try to fix this thing. They're really not worth anything. There's no real rational purpose for this project other than the satisfaction that I get for fixing up a vehicle that I really love. That's it. All right, there's my dog. Hello, Georgia. Hi. Okay, yep, I'm trying to film a video here, but anyway, I think this is gonna be it for today. We'll have more videos coming soon on my fleet of strange and weird 80s and 90s vehicles. And hopefully soon, if I don't get mauled by this kissing dog, we'll have more videos on new vehicles as well. She thinks she's a lap dog. All right, thanks so much for watching. I hope you're well, and I'll see you soon.